Hi, folks. Andrew here. Popcorn and whiskey is Saturday night. How you doing? I am the face who runs the place. Salute. Here we go. All right. Okay, here. Oh, look at that. Right off the bat, I get a message. Hold on. Somebody sent me a message right away. You know, when you sell something on Marketplace and right away people want to give you half price for something, you know, it's already. I already got stuff going on. It's already a steal for the price I have it here. Okay. All right. So my word, what things that are happening right now? Unfreaking believable. And if you don't know, and I'll start right off with this, there was an assassination attempt on former President Trump this evening. Late afternoon, early evening. I don't know the exact time. I'm not going to also get into a lot of the details at this point. One, I'm not a news source. I'm an opinion guy, and opinions right now are not something that we need. There's too many of 'em floating out there, and I will be talking about a few of them, things that I have seen already, which is extremely sad. If you ask me what's going on at this point. Um. Okay. Okay. All right. So first of all, can you hear me okay? I guess I gotta make sure I'm being heard okay. If you can hear me, let me know what's going on out there. I guess I just need to do it myself here real quick. Yep. Yep. Okay. I guess I can hear myself. Okay. Take the headphones off a little bit here. So some of the things that are going on already out there, and this is not. I don't want to say it's a Democrat or Republican thing, but I guess what it boils down to, yeah, it is. Unfortunately, that's what people think of everything or make of everything at this point. It's sad that so many people. Thank you, Lori. Can hear just fine. All right, thank you. It's sad that some people already who are out there looking at this, trying to politicize it. All right. I do want to say this, and if you've watched me before, you know I'm a MAGA guy. Absolutely a MAGA guy, 100%. I should be getting a MAGA hat just so I can broadcast it so everybody knows. All right. I keep getting this guy messaging me about something. Hold on a second. Okay, wait. At this point, I have to stick with the 75. Okay. First of all, President Biden came out. God, it pains me to even say that. President Biden came out, and yes, what he said was good. I think what he said was what needed. What was needed? What was needed? What he said was what he should have said. Didn't say a whole lot because he said, however he phrased it, he says he's waiting for information to come in. So he said what he needed to say. Okay. President Obama came out and said what he needed to say. A lot of these reports came out. A lot of the politicians, most of the politicians, said what they needed to say in the spirit they needed to say it in. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. And it has nothing to do with me liking somebody, not liking somebody, or anything of that sort. The top brass said what they needed to say, and as soon as President Biden said that, I said, yeah, that's exactly what he needed to say. It's probably the best thing he said in the last couple of weeks, but that's beside the point. And there's also people out there who's saying this is a hoax, and I predicted that within the first 10 minutes of me seeing this. I'm like, there's going to be people out there saying that this was all staged to get more points, if you will, on the side. I predicted that right away. I don't have any proof of me predicting that. Yeah, take my word for it. That's what I said right away. There are, excuse me, people out there who are already making fun and saying, "Darn it, the guy missed," type of comments, which is uncool. As much as let's just say disagree or don't like, I should disagree and probably just don't care for President Biden. Again, it pains me to say that, but I do say that. I do not wish any ill will on the guy, for crying out loud. No way. That is just silly for me to even attempt to say something like that. And why anybody else would is about another political figure or about another human being. I don't get. So, but there are people like that. So to you guys, fuck you. You know, the rest of you guys, cheers for saying the right things. Let's see here. That is sad. Yeah, I guess Trump would allow to be shot into the air. Yeah, exactly. No reason to wish death on anyone. Absolutely, Lori. No reason to wish death on anyone. President Trump came within literally millimeters of being shot in the head. Now, there was a report that I heard, or I watched an interview with a guy. How accurate this is, I don't know. So keep that. This is with a grain of salt. Now, the guy was being interviewed by some British reporter. I was watching Joe Pags, love Joe Pags, watching his show. So he reported this. And Joe Pags is notoriously known for making sure what he provides is fairly accurate. All right. He likes to report the news first, opinion second. I like him for that. Same with Dan Bongino. Bongino's rule is he has a 24-hour rule. He usually doesn't report things, but he came on live right after this happened, and I did not get to see it. I didn't turn to it in time. But anyway, this guy, the reporter from England, was interviewing this guy who was at the rally, and the guy was saying, and I'm paraphrasing everything, I didn't see it from the beginning, that him and his buddies were at the rally, and they saw a guy climbing up on a roof of some nearby agricultural type building. I don't know if that means it was a barn, a farmhouse, a silo. I don't know what that was. They said an agricultural type building is what they keep saying. Leave it, take it for what it's worth. But his guy said that him and his buddies watched this guy do like commando style, military style, like crawling across the grass type thing, but on the roof. And he had literally, he says, I can clearly see a rifle in the guy's hand. And he says, right away, we started telling the police and the Secret Service were pointing up to where it was, where this guy was. Now, whether they did anything at that point, well, apparently they didn't, because the guy got some shots off. But he says as soon as the first shot went off or something like that, the Secret Service or the officers, whoever, opened fire on the guy. And according to this eyewitness, according to what he said, again, I don't have this confirmed. I want to make sure I do not have this confirmed at all. I'm just telling you what I saw a reporter interview a guy. He said that he watched the shooter get his head blown off. Again, don't know anything about it. How somebody can get that close. I heard one report it was about 150 yards away. I heard another report says a couple of 100 feet away. Now, there's a big difference between a couple 100 feet and 150 yards. 150 yards, I would say, is more accurate. And here's why. Because if you're a couple of 100 feet and you have a rifle with, and they say that there's a silencer on it. Again, I have no confirmation on anything. Keep that in mind. I have zero confirmation on anything. I'm just reporting to you what I have heard. I am not the AP. I am not the press. I'm just little old Andrew here at Popcorn and Whiskey. But I am the face who runs the place. That's right. So I'm reporting from what I have heard. So this is third person, fourth person, what have you. It is not verified. It is not 100% accurate. Hopefully I am completely wrong with all this stuff. It is a bit gruesome. It is a bit. What's a good word for it here? I don't even know what the word is. But anyway, if the guy was a couple of 100 feet and he had a scope or a silencer, which also leads me to believe that he has a little bit of gun training. If you have a silencer, of course you want to start using it somewhere. I mean, you're not just going to buy a gun and a silencer and use them both together at the first time. I would assume no. I'm not a big gun. I don't want to say I'm not a gun owner because I do own guns, but I'm not a big knowledge base when it comes to that kind of stuff. Okay, we'll leave it at that. People don't realize. Here's a comment. People don't realize once the shots are fired, they have to stop the shooter. He could have shot more people. Well, absolutely. Once a shot is fired, even before a shot is fired, the Secret Service, the officers, whoever, they need to stop the shooter. Absolutely, they do. 100% they need to stop the shooter. And from all indications, after the first shot or two, they got him. From what I understand, again, I want to stress this: I am not a reporter. Keep that in mind. Hopefully the guy's dead. Hopefully, they're going to find out more about this idiot. Yeah, and I'm calling him an idiot. Now, also, I want to reiterate this. I have said this in the past. I'll stick to this. I don't care who the president is. I don't care if I voted for him or her. I don't care what side they're on, who they represent, party-wise, political party-wise. I don't care anything like that. If anybody attempts to do something to assassinate the president of the United States, I hope the Secret Service, I hope law enforcement, I hope anybody that's within this idiot's range who has a firearm on themselves unloads every freaking bullet that they have into the person. And that goes for someone shooting at the president. That goes for somebody crossing the White House lawn illegally. I don't care who you are. Again, I don't care who the president is. I don't care if I like the president or not like the president. Uncalled for. Unload every round you have. Unload all the clips you have on that son of a bitch who does that kind of stuff. Absolutely. I said that before when Obama was in office and the person jumped the fence at the White House. And I think the people who shoot that son of a bitch should get accommodations as well. Should get medals and all kinds of raises, of course, raises. But that's a whole different story there. So it's just mind blowing. There's also reports because right away they're saying, well, the Secret Service didn't do their job. I've heard that one as well too. I believe they did. I mean, as soon as the shots were fired, and you saw them tackle President Trump. If you haven't seen the video, it's out there. You'll see it. Believe me, you'll see it. I must have watched it 100 times until now. You see him tackle President Trump, as they should, and they surround him as they should, and bring him to a vehicle as they should. They should do that with any political opponent. First of all, any U.S. citizen should have that kind of protection, but unfortunately, we don't. It's an impossibility to do that. But our political leaders should have that kind of protection. Absolutely, they should. I am also stunned. Well, I guess I'm not stunned because of the way these rallies are put together. First of all, you don't have to be a genius to understand it. It's got to be a security nightmare. It's got to be from the sense of a security standpoint. From a sense of a people want to go see President Trump standpoint, I'm going to say this, and I don't want to say, I'm not going to say with tact or anything like that. I just want to say this correctly because in my mind it makes sense. I want to make sure I say this correctly. The people who attend those rallies, they're there to have a good time. They're there to enjoy it. They're not there to get in fights. They're not there to, well, of course, they're going to bash the opponent. Of course, that's part of any political rally. You want to bash your opponent. That's just part of it. It's the same with a baseball game or a football game or something like that. If you're a Colts fan, I say Colts because I'm in Indiana. I'm not a big football fan, but first team that came to my mind. you're a Colts fan and they're playing the Patriots, you're going to go there and going to say, boo, Patriots suck, blah, blah, blah. Of course you are. That's what you do. The same thing at a political rally. And the Trump political rallies, if you've seen any of them, and if you did watch any of the man on the streets beforehand where they're going through the crowd talking to folks, and I've seen dozens, if not hundreds, of videos of folks from the other side saying they want to go into a Trump rally to see what it's like, and they can't believe all the excitement, the joy, the camaraderie, the embracing people that want to be there. So people are not there with violence in their on their hearts and their minds or anything of that sort. They're there to have a good time. They're there to cheer on their candidate. Hi, John. All right. Hi, hey, buddy. So they're there to do all that kind of stuff. I have yet, outside of today, I have yet to hear anybody say there's any kind of violence at a Trump rally. Have there been? Has there been? Probably. Has it been reported on? If it has, I haven't heard about it. Put it that way. Now, do I hear about every Trump rally? No. But especially when he was doing it in 2015, 2016, or I guess all through 2015, I watched as many as I could. I absolutely enjoyed the heck out of it. I think, and I said this before, I'll say it again, I think Trump is a wonderful speaker. He has a different way of speaking to a crowd. Now, I'm not going to get into that now because we talked about that before. Now, one thing, I'm going to backtrack a little bit here. A negative comment that I heard was Trump got what's coming to him. I've already heard that. Yeah, the people on the left are saying stuff like that. My first reaction was, I'll be first clear, when this happened, of course, it's going to be somebody opposing Trump. I'm not going to say it's a Democrat, but somebody that's opposing Trump, of course. That's just a given. Right away, I was watching ABC, and right away they said President Biden had a statement come out. Joaquin Jeffries, is that his name? Joaquin Jeffries, whatever, that dude from the majority leader, who I don't like him at all. The governor of Pennsylvania, Democrat, governor of California, Democrat. They all were coming out basically saying the same thing. This is uncalled for. There is no room for violence is wrong word here, but there is no place for violence at all in America and the political blah blah blah, which is what they should have. Absolutely, they should have. 100%. They said what they needed to say. Now, my first reaction to this is ABC is already commenting on all these Democrats coming out and saying this. They didn't say anything about Republicans saying this. Now, later on, it came out, but the first 5 or 6 that they talked about were all Democrats. They were trying, in my opinion only, they were trying to get ahead of it because it does appear to be somebody on their team, so to speak, did this. Again, no confirmation whatsoever, but it appears to be somebody on their team, and somebody who is not a Trump fan. Okay? Keep that in mind. So if that's the case, they wanted to get ahead of it, and as they should. I'm not faulting them for it, but it's awful convenient how they were all, how ABC was saying all the different Democratic, I don't want to say operatives, is not the right word. All the Democratic bigwigs on their side were coming out and saying this before they mentioned anything about the Republicans. Keep that in mind. John, can we please acknowledge their fierce rhetoric against Trump up until this point? Then suddenly they condemn political violence. It does appear pretty suspicious. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you can list Democrat after Democrat after leftist after liberal all through there talking about violence, talking about different things. Absolutely, you can. And if you're on that side of the aisle, God bless you. You're welcome here. Absolutely. You're not going to like what I have to say, but you're welcome here. You're even welcome to come on with me. We can chit chat about it. Let's stay civil with each other, but you're welcome to come on here. But you always hear the violence coming from that side. like it or not, agree with it or not, truth is truth. You always hear about the violence coming from that side, and they tout it as coming from our side. It's as Dan Bongino says, the dipsy-do flipperoo. Whatever they accuse you of is the exact stuff that they're doing. They try to flip it around. It's what I just say? Whoopsie-doo, flip-de-doo, flipperoo. Okay, whatever it is, that's what Dan Bongino says. Yes, I listen to Dan Bongino. Love Dan Bongino. Love Dan Bongino. Love Joe Pags. I'm shying away from Hannity. Not that I dislike him, just shying away from it. I don't like the way he does his program compared to the other guys. I'm liking it less and less. Okay, keep that in mind. Gutfeld, I like Gutfeld. I love Gutfeld. I think he's great. He's great. Pags and Bongino, those are my two favorites. Or not right now. Dipsy-doo flipperoo. That's right, John. Dipsy-doo flipperoo. Same flipsy-doo flipperoo. Dipsy-doo flipperoo. Absolutely. I like Laura Ingraham. Megyn Kelly. Oh, I think she's a fox. That's one of the reasons I like her. I like her. Love Megyn Kelly. I can be arrested by some of the things I think about Megyn Kelly. Whoo, mercy. Megan, if you're watching this, which I doubt you ever will, but if you did, hey, I would love to have a chit chat with you. We'll just leave it at that. All right. Cheers, Megan. I don't know what I would do if Megyn Kelly came on my show. I'd be tongue-tied. I wouldn't know what the first thing to say to her. I know I wouldn't want to talk politics, but then again, that's what she does, and that's what we could do. But Megyn Kelly, yeah, leave it at that. Wow. So that's what's going on there. Now, I would suspect, I guess I should put the TV on just to be on the safe side here. I can't imagine John, Bongino, Gutfeld, Pags, Megan. All right, hold on a second here. Okay. I would suspect, I'm going to turn the TV on so I have in the background here, that, let's see here. John, Bongino, Gutfeld, Pags, Megan is hot because she's super intelligent. Now, Megan is hot because she's hot. Megan is hot because she's hot. Simple as that. I would imagine that Trump is just itching to get on in front of a camera somewhere talking about this. I am surprised he hasn't yet, which also kind of tells me there's more to it than what's going on at this point. Now, I did put on a presser, as they call it. That's what us people in the business call it. It's a presser. It's basically on Truth Social, basically saying the Secret Service, who did a phenomenal job, if you ask me, the law enforcement who did a phenomenal job, if you ask me. There will be reports coming out, keep this in mind, that they should have stopped it sooner. There's already some things, rumblings I've heard about, why didn't they see this already coming? If people can't see, like the guy I talked about earlier, if people in the stand saw this already, why did Secret Service not see this? I'm getting another message here. Put something on Marketplace, and all of a sudden I'm getting things out of the woodwork. So I guess I must have put it way too low. So we'll see if they respond to it. I got an iPad Mini 4 that I don't use. I say I'm going to list it for sale. And so I put it for $75, and I got people already offering to pay a little less than that. One person wanted me to deliver to him. I said, there's going to be a delivery fee. Simple as that. And of course they say, well, I don't have gas money. Well, then you don't need to get a freaking iPad if you don't have gas money. It's just that simple. But that's what some people want to do. All right. Uh-oh. Okay. There. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So he's itching to be on camera. I can't believe he's not on camera yet, saying anything, and unless he came on and I missed it already in the last half hour when I was prepping for the come on here. If he came on ready, I missed it, so I don't know much about it. If he did come on, if he hasn't, which is shocking to me that he hasn't, because the whole world is watching at this point. Maybe, and this is my speculation here, maybe he's not just, and that's why they put out the presser, just for the fact that if he comes out, people will say he's doing a campaign speech from this tragedy. That could be, maybe that's why. And that's another reason that I thought that President Biden came out really, really, really soon before he saw a lot of the correct information. Which, again, I want to reiterate, when President Biden came out and did his 30-second, 60-second, whatever it was, speech for acknowledging everything and right away condemning it, I thought he was fantastic. I got to give credit where credit is due. I thought he did a great job. I also think that he came on as quickly as he did because he did not want Trump to come out before he did, because that would just make him look bad. Not that he needs any help to look bad, but I think that's it. Let's see here. Brenda, I've been watching all the channels. Yeah. Okay. Brenda said, no, he has not shown up yet. Yeah. I've had an ABC and Fox. I've been getting into News Nation quite a bit lately too. News Nation, kind of like that station a little bit. Now, as much as I lean to the right, yes, again, MAGA guy here. I liked Trump before he even ran. Long time for about that. But yeah, so going back to what I was saying, I'm rambling here a little bit, but you guys are used to it. I think the reason he hasn't came out yet, and I thought about this in the last half hour, is because he doesn't want to. It appeared to be more of a campaign speech, which he well, the spin could be that's what he's doing, unless he says every word a specific way. It can be interpreted as a campaign speech, which in a week from now, we'll say it was bad for him to do it that way. So that's probably why he hasn't came out and said it yet, or said anything yet. Which I believe at this point, at first I thought it's good for him to do it, but at this point, it may be best for him not to. Maybe wait till tomorrow, because right now, yeah, everybody's watching right now. Everybody's looking at all the different coverages, the different, whatever your favorite station is, you're watching that. They're all going to have their own little slant on it. I have not watched CNN, have not watched MSNBC. Like I said, I was telling earlier, it was ABC, and it almost appeared to me. Now, granted, I look at it through the right-leaning glasses, if you will. You know what they say, rose-colored glasses, right-leaning glasses, that they were trying to uplift or stick up for the Democrats quite a bit. If somebody watches Fox, they can say they're for this particular instance. All right, this particular instance, you can say that they are sticking up for the Republicans. I was watching Fox for about 2 hours before I came on. I did not see them saying much about one side of the aisle versus the other, as opposed to what I was seeing with the other side, who were really sticking up for their Democratic friends, which is, hey, if that's what they do, that's great. Again, looking at it through right colored glasses, keeping that in mind. Okay. So all that being said, this is going to be a boost in the polls for Trump. Yeah. As unfortunate as it is, and this is not the way we want it to be. And yeah, and I'm on that side, of course. This is not the way we want it to be. It will be a boost on the side of the Trump. Hey, speaking of that, and maybe you guys can help me out, whoever's still watching here. Why was, and I'm sure I just missed it, and I know about it, I just can't think of why. But wasn't the judge supposed to say something on the 11th about Trump's sentencing or whatever the heck they call it? Was that obviously it was postponed because it wasn't brought up or anything, so I don't know. And also, they're saying that as of this point, as of right now, President Trump has not revealed who his running mate is going to be. I had heard earlier, and I forgot which station I was watching. It was either ABC or Fox. I don't know, one of those two. And I was also watching Joe Pags. Okay, I miss Bongino, and I was watching Pags. Now, in the Pags comments, people were asking if Bongino was online as well because I was watching on Rumble. And they said no, Bongino was visibly shaken up about this whole thing. Because one, that's what he used to do. Worked on that in the Secret Service for the president. He worked under Bush and under Obama. So let's see here. Let's see, John. The worst meme I have seen so far it was a picture of Hillary with the caption, "What do you mean they missed?" Yeah, I've seen that. Something similar. It wasn't a meme of Hillary, but there's all going to be they're going to be coming out all kinds of stuff like that. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who I don't agree with much of what he says, but I like the guy. He's on right now on Fox's Why. I like the guy. He's come out and said, you can kiss my ass. All these people with the political stuff. He's also getting screwed by the Democrats, big time screwed by the Democrats. He can at this point possibly not, but he could beat Biden. He could have beat Biden if they would have gave him a little bit of backing at all. He could have beat Biden. But hey, that's a whole different story. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Something about. Oh yeah, Bongino. The different things I was watching, different things I was listening to. Let's see. What was I saying? If you guys remember, get me back on my train of thought here. I got like a million things going on at this point. A million things I want to say. I want to make sure I say them in the right order and in the right way. However, I was phrasing it. Maybe we can get away from this in a little bit as well. So we'll see. God, I got something. I think I got a splinter today in my finger right here. I got a splinter. Trying to get it out. Oh well, I'll get it out later. RFK Jr. needs Secret Service protection. Yes, he does. Absolutely, he does. And I don't know if he's getting it or not, but he should. He's a political candidate. He's running for a president. I don't know if he's on all 50 states ballots or not. And I know President Biden, there was one state that he wasn't on the ballot. I think it was Ohio. I don't know if they got that resolved or not. So anyway, gee whiz. So what else is going on? Let's get away from this real quick for a little bit. Movies. We talk about movies. I just saw this right now. The Tulsa King. If you guys have not seen the show, The Tulsa King, watch it. Season 1 was fantastic. All right, let's see here. Let's see. John Biden refused RFK Jr. protection. Yep. Put Elmer's glue on it. Let it dry. Then pull it out. Oh, on the splinter? Put Elmer's glue on it. Let it dry. Then pull it out. I've never heard of that before. That's great. Yeah. Speaking of that stuff, all right, what I was doing today earlier is I have a couple of apple trees and a couple of pear trees. I actually have 3 of each. 2 of them are basically, they haven't given me anything hardly at all. 2 of them, just a couple, but 2 of them are full to the rim with apples and pears. All right. Usually the last several years, all the squirrels have getting to all my apples while they're still little bitty apples. And so I haven't really had much apples. So this year, and I've tried putting stuff around the tree so they couldn't get up there, but they always climb around it. So now I have a 3-foot tall stuffed owl, like a yard ornament owl, I put out next to the tree. They are staying away from that tree. I got a tree full of apples. That's great. I got a tree full of pears. So much so that the branches are hanging down. They're coming down like this everywhere. And a good wind is going to knock them over and break them all, which has happened last year with a couple of my pears. Now, the apples last year, so they were all gone by the time the big winds came because of the squirrels. But this year so far, no. Now my other 4 trees, they don't produce anything, so I don't know what's going on with those. But, so what I did this year is and I try to do this every year, is try to hold the branches up. At first, I put braces underneath them, but I gotta get the engineer mind going enough to get the braces going right because they always kept falling over. So then I got bungee cords and strung them up to the base of the tree, which worked fine, but it was a pain in the butt. So this year, what I did is I got some cord, um, with some ratchet straps, and there's a couple of trees. I have a lot of trees on my property, and I hooked the ratchet straps to one tree about 30 feet away, and the pear tree, and put a ratchet strap up there, and I'm hanging, and I put the branches. I hung them up with bungee cords so they can still flop around a little bit on there. I'm hoping if a wind comes or a strong storm comes or something, which we'll have in the next month or so. We always do. I hope it's going to be strong enough to hold it. So we'll see. Yeah, one of those kind of things. Brenda, what kind of apples? I don't know what kind of apples they are. All I know is they're red and they're juicy. Yeah, that's all I know. I like juicy. There we go. But the pears are what I really like. I like the pears before they're all the way ripe. I like them when they're nice and crunchy. You bite into them, and the juice just drips down. Oh, I love that. Love my pears. So with the apples, hopefully this year, I will be able to get enough and make some out of. Ah, yep. John, yep, my mom used to do that too. Yep. And my dad has been gone for 6 years now. The year he passed, we have some peach trees in our property too. I got a couple of peaches, and I've never done this before. Got the pits from the peaches, and I put them in the freezer, and I watched them put them in the freezer, and wrapped them up, and did all that good stuff. And I planted them from seed. Got them from seed. I got two pear trees. Did them that year, and the following year I did two persimmon trees because we have persimmons as well. This year, the peaches are doing fantastic. Finally, they're giving me some product. They did a few last year, not many. This year, these two peach trees are full of peaches. They are not mature at all. They have several years to grow, but there's a lot of peaches on these, which I'm extremely happy about. My gosh, and um, let's see, John. I don't know what that means. Something over and then something very dry every day. What's that say? I don't know what you mean there. Brenda, ooh, send me some. All right, Brenda, you want the juicy stuff, don't you? Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Brenda, I may be coming to Inglewood in a few weeks. I might come just for the weekend. You should check on mom's house. I just want to get away from her a few days as well. Check out the beach and do a couple things at the house. I might be coming down that way. John, peaches over apples. Depends on the peaches, depends on the apples. I don't dislike any of them. You give me an apple tree and a peach tree, I'm loving it. Absolutely. My favorite off the tree now, not at the store bought, off the tree. My favorite is the pears before they're all the way ripe. I love crunchy pears. Oh, with the juice coming out of them. Absolutely love them. And that does not mean I don't like the other ones. I love peaches, love apples off the tree, especially. That's the best. And the city folks who've never done that before, those are great. Now, in Florida, and John, I don't know if this is in Texas or not as well, but in Florida, they have something called a star fruit, which is delicious. Never heard of it until I moved down to Florida. Never heard of it, never even seen it before, but it looks like a star. It's a star fruit. Absolutely love the star fruit. So we got that going on down in Florida. And if I still live there, and I have a feeling eventually I'll move back down that way, but I don't know. because I love the property I'm on right now. Absolutely love it, but I hate the winters. My God, do I hate the winters. The only good thing about the winters for me is it gives me more time to get on and do this. I absolutely love the studio I'm in here. I love the setup I have. I love the property I'm on. Love everything about it, except I don't like the wintertime. Then people say, yeah, but if you go out in Florida in the summertime, it's brutally hot. You're right. Brutally hot. Love it. Been there, done that. We'll do it again. Loved it. Absolutely. John, only get it in produce, but we have star fruit. Not sure it grows here or not. Okay. Brenda, be a snowbird, 6 and 6. Yeah, trust me, it will happen. That's why I move here. I hate the winter. Yeah, yeah. That's why you hate it. You move there. Absolutely. Yeah. So, um, I will continue doing my hobby. And if you don't know what my hobby is, let me give you a hint. My dad put this in perspective when he was alive. God rest his soul. Put this in perspective for me once, because I know usually Dad and I call this in season. August, September, October, November was our in season. Usually more September, October, but August started it. Is when we did our stuff. All right, keep that. And and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I just gave you a hint. Go figure it out. And one day I was talking to Dad. I said, Dad, we spend an awful lot of money doing this kind of stuff. And Dad says it's my hobby. A lot of people his age, and my age now, and John, our age, even younger, spend a lot of money on golf. Nothing wrong with it if that's what you love to do. I mean, a lot of money on golf. For our hobby, for my hobby, I spent a fraction of what the average guy spends in golf on my hobby, and I enjoy it. So kiss my ass. It's just that simple. So could I do this year round? Yeah, I could. I'll be starting to batch soon. John, tennis for him. Yeah, absolutely. John, I would love to get a small place back in Clinton for the summer visits. Yeah. Hey, you want to come to Clinton, John, for a summer visit? You and your wife? I got room my place. Feel free to. You're no obligation to stay here whatsoever. Or if you do stay here, no obligation to hang out with me. You can stay here and go visit whoever you need to. But we're old time buddies. Absolutely more than welcome to come here, John. We'll just leave it at that. And if you want to get more information about it, we can talk privately. So, but you know that, and you know enough people in Clinton, you can find places. I don't know if you still have family here or not, John, and I'm not asking you to say or disclose it here one way or the other. None of my business. But I'm telling you, if you want to come back to Clinton for a visit, let me know. Excuse me. Festival time may be difficult. There are other people staying at my house for then, so it might be kind of difficult. But if you ever want to come back for visits, no problem. Just let me know. All right. Put it this way: your wife can come, not you. No, I'm kidding, Johnny. You know that. I've never met your wife, but she seems like a very lovely person. So we'll leave it at that. But getting back to my hobby, yeah. So I'm planning on doing something with grain. Yeah, with grain, and seeing how that turns out. So we'll see. Yeah, I need to make a big old batch coming up because I have something that somebody asked me for a few bottles. To talk about that here in a second. John, I do have family, but they are elderly. I do not want to come for the festival. Okay. Your wife hates bald men. Well, she hasn't met me yet, buddy. Everybody likes me. There you go. She hates bald men. All right, whatever. So I've had two people in the last several months. Two, not one, two people. And this bugs the bejeebers out of me. I don't mind doing it, but it bugs me when they assume I'm going to do it. Brenda, I love Drew's ball head. Thank you, Brenda. All right, there you go, John. So there. All right. Brenda, you can come visit me anytime as well. And if I'm in Florida, you can come visit me over there as well. We'll leave it there. uh, see, John, especially balding on the chin. Oh, that's right, because you got that big Grizzly Adams beard. That's right. I don't I don't have a beard, so I don't know. How do you keep it clean? Especially when you eat. I don't see how you keep it clean. I'd have crumbs all over the beard if I like that. I don't know. We can have fun with that one all night long. But no, two people have asked me this in the last several months. I will do it because it's the kind of heart I have. They ask for some bottles because they want to give them away as presents. Now, wait a second. I don't mind giving you a bottle or two of the stuff that I make. But when you tell me you want to give them away as presents, wait a second. All right. Do you know how much time goes into one bottle of stuff? Do you know how much time goes into one bottle? Oop. A lot of time and effort goes into one bottle, let alone several bottles. I'm definitely not doing it for a profit. Not at all. And I could probably make more money sitting on my ass watching TV than I do that if you want to do it that. Definitely a lot less work. There's a lot of work and a lot of effort that goes into this kind of craft. Let's see, John. Be careful. You might have to register your still. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have a still. I just say I have a hobby. I do a craft. I don't know what you're talking about. We'll leave it at that. I also live in a small town. Johnny, you know the town. There are several people that I know who make this stuff. A lot of the law enforcement officers in this town know who does it as well. The people who I know who make the stuff do not sell the stuff at all. There's debates going on whether you can legally make it if you don't sell it or not. I think bottom line is you cannot legally make the stuff. Okay. But there are brewing supply stores all over the state of Indiana. Let's see here, John. You still may. You still may. Yep. There, I personally know one person. And I have sat at the table with this person and several law enforcement officers who have consumed product made by this person. Not me. I'm not saying it's me. I'm a person who does this. Law enforcement officers in our small town, there are several people who they know make it. Absolutely. As long as you're not stupid about it, as long as you're not doing idiotic stuff with it, law enforcement has better things to do on their time. I just keep that in mind. I mean, and you're not going to find somebody who respects law enforcement more than myself. Absolutely, 100% respect them. Absolutely. I used to work as a correctional guard at the local county jail, so I know what kind of work they do. I know what they do. I know how they put their life on the line for a lot of this stuff. You can't find anybody that's going to respect them more than me. Okay, leave it at that. If a law enforcement officer asks me if I can provide a bottle or two for them, I will find a bottle or two for them. I'm not saying I make it. I'm saying I can find it. Leave it at that. John, Boone supplies in Texas too, and they are the biggest consumers. If you don't sell it, you shouldn't have to worry. Personal consumption and gifts. Yep, all over Texas. Yeah, I agree. You shouldn't have to. But unfortunately, the state, whatever state you're at, they want their taxes. And that's what it basically comes down to. Boils down to something like that. If you sell one drop, they want taxes on that one drop. It's just that simple. I know somebody, not in this country. We'll leave it at that. Not in this country. Not in this county. I didn't say county. I said country. I know, as a matter of fact, two different countries who made thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars selling it. Illegally, yeah, it was not in the United States. It was in different countries. I personally know these folks. Their product is good. We'll leave it at that. Her product is very good. Now, what I've run into the last couple of years making the stuff, yes. Let me rephrase that. Helping somebody make the stuff. What I've run into is when you ferment everything, you put everything together and ferment it. I'm on a couple of Facebook pages about moonshiners and distillation and stuff of that sort. I got too wrapped up. All right, let me back up. Wait a second. Let me back up. I was taught to do it old school way by you sticking your finger in something, tasting it, and putting it up to the air and see how everything goes. That's how I was brought up, and that's how I learned the craft. Is there a lot more to it than that? Oh, absolutely. There is so much more to it than that. Way more to it than that. I got introduced to somebody who is just the opposite. Needs everything calculated down to the minute detail about everything. Fantastic. Product that this guy makes is fantastic. Nothing wrong with it. I get into these Facebook pages. There's a combination of everybody. Let's see here. John, I remember the stories of bootlegging wine all over Clinton area back in the Prohibition. Do you remember those stories? Do I remember those stories? My name, Andrew Paletto, the face who runs the place, Popcorn Whiskey. I am named after one of the biggest bootleggers in Clinton. Leave it at that. My aunt, God bless her soul, who died in the 80s, my great aunt, she always said to the day she died, Al Capone was a frequent guest of her house. True or not, don't know. Obviously, I wasn't around back then, but she always said that Al Capone was a frequent guest to her house. We'll leave it at that. Oh, I have stories, absolutely, and I'm not going to get into them here. No, but I got wrapped up into the scientific way of doing things the last couple of years, which got me all discombobulated, and I self-admit it. I'm listening to 5 or 6 different people trying to do a combination of everything else. Got away from my roots of doing it. So this year I said, excuse my language here, folks. I said, fuck it. I'm doing it my way. I'm doing it the way I was taught. Screw everything else. Some people say you shouldn't add sugar. Other people say you should add sugar. Some people say you should use this kind of this kind of yeast. Some people say you should use that kind of yeast. Fuck it. So one day I'm going through the Facebook page, reading some of the posts on there, and one guy finally says, I ask a couple because I ask questions galore on this page, and the page is fantastic. They are fun filled. The people know their stuff inside and out. Some people get way too scientific, and that's what, in my opinion, got me all discombobulated. My own personal fault, nobody else's fault but mine. Keep that, and I'll freely admit it, my own fault. Okay, for doing that. One guy finally said, "Do it however you want to. Do it whatever you want to do. Taste it." Because you're saying, okay, how many grams of this, how many ounces of that, how much this or how much that? He says, the guy says, do it however you want to. If you know the basics, do it your way. And I said, you know what? Hark. It's like, oh, this went off. And I'm like, you know what? He's right. Screw it. Last couple of years, there's been so much that I've done that I look back now and I shake my head. My dad would just smack me upside the head. He says, you idiot. Why are you doing it like that? And I've wasted so much product. I've wasted so much stuff that I had good batches of everything. So this year, screw it. I'm gonna do it by the way I was told. And Brenda, you'll love this. Dip my finger in it, lick it, put it up and see if it tastes good. The way I want to. I'm already determined I'm doing it that way. I'm gonna start with this batch of grain. Probably tomorrow or the next day, I'm gonna pitch it and go for that way and see what happens. So. All right, we'll see what happens. Well, we'll leave it like that. And John says that he hears that as well. Capone came off, and yep, I'll leave it at that. Yeah, I used to say, and by now they're all passed away, I'm sure. If you went to Little Chicago, Little Italy in Chicago, and mentioned my name, this is when I was, in the teens and 20s, when I was in my teens and 20s, back in the 80s and 90s. If you go to Little Italy in Chicago, talk to some of the older guys and throw out my name, I would promise you some of them knew it. The ones who are still alive, of course, knew the name, Andrew Poletto, because of the guy I was named after. And at that time, at that point, I'm sure they was in their 80s, 90s, by early hundreds if they were still alive, but they would have known my name. Absolutely, they would have. Now, they're probably not because they're all dead at this point. But hey, that's the way life is. It's cyclical. You live, then you die. You live, then you die, and life goes on. The world keeps spinning. It's just that simple. And when you think about it, don't want to get into that because I don't want to bring it all down, but that's basically what it is. So anyway, speaking of gangsters, speaking of Capone, I said this earlier, the Tulsa King. Because I see here right in my computer says this Tulsa King season 2 promo. If you have not watched the Tulsa King and you like that kind of gangster type things, it was great. Outside of a couple little scenes, couple of episodes I didn't care for, but Tulsa King was great. Loved it. Sylvester Stallone was fantastic in it. I like the Tulsa King. A lot of stuff here. All right, folks. So I've been going for right at an hour. I'm going to stop it here, watch some more Tube, but I appreciate everybody being here. I had a good time tonight. There's a lot more I wanted to get into, but because of the circumstances and because of stuff I want to get caught up on and watch here, and besides, I'm almost out. There will be some changes coming here soon. I keep saying that, but tonight wasn't the time for it. There was some audio changes, and I hope you guys obviously you heard me okay. You hear me talking. There were some situations that happened with my audio setup. Not bad, not good, but not bad. Some changes I had to make, and I talked with a couple of Microsoft executives and Microsoft certified people who couldn't figure out an audio issue that I had. I was racking my brains for 2 days, and it has helped me out. Let's see. Thanks for the invite. I may take you up on that one day. Good night, buddy. Thank you, John. Absolutely. You're welcome here, my friend. You're welcome here. Bring me some good hooch from Texas. You can come up. Well, you're probably flying, so you probably can't. But if you drive here, welcome to come up here anytime, my friend. We'll leave it at that. Okay. But we'll get into my audio issues next time. I will stop it here. Thank you for being here again. Popcorn Whiskey. My name is Andrew. I'm the face who runs the place. I don't know, Debbie, if you're out there listening right now, call me. Tammy, if you're listening, call me. Yeah, I'm being a whore now. That's right. All right. Can't post comments to some destinations. Why not? Learn more. Where can I not post comments to? Let's see. Oh, and I just saw this here. Facebook profiles I can't post. LinkedIn, Twitter, Hopin, Instagram Live. Okay. All right. Well, apparently posting, you'd be able to post here. Yes, if I want to react to Facebook, I have to go there and post. Okay, enough said. All right. So, all right, I'm stopping it here. Until next time, this is me, the face who runs the place, Popcorn and Whiskey. Ciao.